How is it going, everyone? It's Johnny Bead here with another episode of the Streamer Stories podcast. My guest today it's Ravishing Ray. Here she is.
Hello.
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 Oh, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Oh,
Everything's good. It's calm. It's peaceful.
there is peaceful. It is.
It is very peaceful.
It's really nice. I mean, we're at different time zones. It's midnight here, so it's very peaceful on my end as well. So, oh, sorry. This is on a Sunday afternoon in the UK time. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not recorded in advance at all. What are we talking about?
Of course.
It's a running gag of the podcast. Ravishing Ray, how are you? Thanks for joining the podcast.
For having me.
Oh.
I'm excited. I'm so excited.
We've known each other for, oh God, it must be coming up to 2 years.
Yes.
And I think you're wonderful. I've seen your journey as a streamer on Twitch. You're killing it. You're doing so well.
Thank you.
And I am a lurker of your streams quite a lot, actually. So yeah.
Are you? See, I don't even know.
No, no. But obviously, I know who you are. But do you want to introduce yourself, Ray, to people who may not know who you are?
I basically give everybody the same thing. I'm a horror streamer by day, a mom at night, and yeah. And of course, on top of that, well, I classified myself as a disabled horror streamer by day and mommy warrior by night. That's the way I say it.
Yeah. Interesting that you say that you're a mum by night.
I know.
Are your children nocturnal?
Well, no, it's more so because I stream during the day and then I get them and then I shut off the stream world and I see them late afternoon basically from school. So it's like,
no, I kid. No, I just had to say that. No, that was funny.
I love saying that. Everybody gets so confused and I think it's the funniest thing.
It's great. Oh, it's so good. No, so I have to ask a question. I mean, we will get into obviously a lot of different stuff. Just off the cuff, then you mentioned your wonderful children. So let's ask this: as a streamer and as a mom, do they relax? Do you stream to unwind from the children, or do you unwind with the children from streaming, or is it a bit of both?
Okay, so I unwind with the children from streaming. They're kind of, they're my little cuddle bugs. They just kind of come home, they have their tablets, and they just basically just surround me in my room as I relax. And that's kind of what we do. We're just talk and just kind of eat and just have our girl time, as I say.
Oh, that's so wholesome.
That's
so awesome. Oh, love it. Okay. Well, since we're talking about children, let's rewind the clock. Let's talk about when Ravishing Ray was a child. So, did you play games when you were a kid? And what were like the first memories? What were the first memories of video games, that you can remember?
Oh boy. I was gonna actually bring it out, but I think I have it like behind me or something, like in this corner over here. But my very first, I want to say real memories. Okay, so I grew up with my cousins and they always had video games way before me. They're what we call steps, basically. There's one right underneath me. I'm here in the middle. Then I have a cousin right here on top, and right here we're a year apart, literally.
Okay,
and we all grew up together. And they always had video games. I think the very first thing that they had was the original Super Nintendo. The original. And of course, my very first time even touching the Nintendo was theirs, and it was Duck Hunt. That was the very first. That's going to tell my age.
No.
That was the first bit of memories. And then I got my own Super Nintendo, which I still have, actually. And it was Super Mario.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, did you have Duck Hunt? Did you have the pistol? Did it have the setup? Yeah. So, I mean, it's an interesting way to start your video game journey, should we say? That most of it's like this, but no. Nope. We started shooting the television.
Started shooting.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So, I mean, how did that go in your mind then? Did you think did all games like this, or was it how did going to that go for you then? Because, yeah,
I mean, I didn't think all games were like that,
okay,
but it was kind of one of these things because they had the controller too, you know, the rectangle controller. So we
yeah,
had both. And it's kind of like I personally saw that the future was just really going to be controllers, not necessarily all of the extra stuff that we actually have now when it comes to games. So I didn't really pay attention to the pistol stuff like that or
yeah.
anything. Controllers were my thing. I don't know why that is, but controllers are my thing.
Did you ever go like to the arcades or anything like that as well? Because I'm useless at like
Yeah,
Point Blank or whatever, you know.
we had there was an arcade that was near me where I used to live, and they we actually didn't have one machine there that had the pistols 2 connected
Mm,
either, which is interesting because I feel like back then we should have, but we had more so like Pac-Man in there and what was it? The what is it? The Galaga game or whatever, where you're
yeah,
shooting the rockets and stuff.
yeah.
We had that. Um, oh, I can't think of the other ones. Honestly, those are the only two that stuck on.
Mm,
So I gravitated to those two, and I kind of still play them
yeah.
whenever I get a chance to.
Nice, nice. And
Mhm.
Mario. So you did you continue to play Nintendo games? So you played Mario. I mean, what was that like for you? Did you beat it when you were a kid?
Yes, I don't know
Ah,
how many times I've beaten it. I've unlocked all of the secret levels. I've locked how to zoom through the game. I know all of it. Literally.
nice.
Yeah.
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 I can't take this Mario. I was a Sonic kid growing up, so you know,
I love
I
Sonic
was
too. Don't get me
yeah.
wrong.
My
But
wife's Mario. I'm Sonic, so you know.
mhm, Mario was my thing. I've played pretty much every Mario game. Even now, we have I think the first Mario game that my girls ever touched was the Mario for their Switch. Because I never really turn on my Super Nintendo.
Mm,
But I do have a picture of them when they were younger, and they thought that it was on because it was sitting by the TV, and they had like
yeah,
the little controllers kind of doing this number because they were mimicking what I was doing.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, Mario has still been my thing throughout the years.
Nice. No, I've probably mentioned that on the podcast before, but I've got similar memories about my much younger brother. He's like 9 years younger than me, so it was a massive age gap. And I used to play Tekken, and I used to unplug his control pad and go, "Yeah, yeah, you're doing great," you know, type of thing. So,
I feel like my cousins did the same thing with me when I was younger. I sometimes, honestly, I don't think that the pistol was even connected. I'm not even gonna lie.
oh, you're doing great, Ray. You're doing great.
Yeah, you got this.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so other memories then? What other games did you play on the Super Nintendo? Did you then move to from the Super Nintendo? Then it would have been Nintendo 64, maybe. Did you go down that
hmm
direction? Yeah.
They had every single system. I
Mm,
played all of their systems. My mom was kind of on the stricter side when it came to like video games and stuff with me. She stopped at the Super Nintendo and she was just like, "Well, they have it. You go play it with them." So that's pretty much what it was.
oh,
I
nice.
gamed with them. That was our thing.
Yeah. No, that's really
Mhm.
cool. That's really cool. So, what games come to mind then when you think about that era? So you mentioned Mario, obviously, and Duck Hunt. So,
Donkey Kong,
oh yeah.
Donkey Kong, Sonic, um, and ooh, because there were so many like Mario games around that time. And then of course we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all of those series for the Nintendo. Definitely played all of those. And yeah, cuz we moved from Nintendo like over into Sony pretty quickly. When
Okay.
PlayStation came out, it was straight to PlayStation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was about to mention about like you and your cousins then. So did you like have if you did play, did you play Nintendo 64 and did you have like the four controllers, the setup that way?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yes. It
I
was
was always
nice.
I was always jealous. Like I was PlayStation. I never had a Nintendo. My first Nintendo console actually was the GameCube.
Wow.
So yeah, I was really late. I was a PlayStation kid, but that was the one thing I was very jealous about with Nintendo 64 kids is that it always looked so much fun to play like 4 player, and it was advertised like that. Whereas in the PlayStation had the multi tap, and it was just rubbish. It was
Hmm.
just rubbish. So
No, I understand. No, it was a lot of fun, and honestly, it made my aunt happier because we weren't fighting over the controllers. We could just all just play together, call it a
yeah,
day.
did you play Mario Kart at all?
Yes.
Ah, yeah.
And I still play Mario Kart with my kids. It's like a tradition that just keeps going, and I enjoy beating them every single time.
So are you a get good mom?
Listen, I let them win every once in a while just to kind of like boost them up a little bit, but then I go back and destroy them
Yeah,
because this is
yeah,
a gaming family.
absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't blame me. Don't blame me. I'm at this point that it's always funny though. Like you mentioned, like playing games with your kids, and I do it. I do it to a certain degree, but I don't play the same games as them, and like the games that they play when I do try to go, okay, right, okay, I'm going to try and play your game, uh,
Mhm.
they kick my butt, like because they're so good at their games. I'm like, oh god, okay, yeah.
The only thing that I refuse to play is Roblox. Anything Roblox, I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. I don't care what it is, but they find like the games that I play in Roblox. So they're kind of like sometimes you'll see them on stream, they'll be sitting in the corner over here on the couch and they'll be playing the game that I'm playing basically, but the kid version of it. So it's kind of our thing, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, good
Yeah.
stuff. Okay, so you mentioned PlayStation. So,
Mhm.
what were some of those classics on the PlayStation that you played growing up?
Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, um, and those were the two games that I were heavy in. Besides, like any of the WWE games, which obviously it wasn't WWE all the way back then, but any of those games is what I played pretty much.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah,
Were you a slash are you a wrestling fan?
I am a wrestling fan.
Oh, nice. Oh, I didn't know about that, Ray. Oh, see, I've always known I liked you for a reason.
Listen,
So, who was your go to wrestling back in the day? Then, I mean, if we're talking about the games, so who did you play as?
I always did. It's two. I either did The Rock or I did Shawn Michaels, one or the other.
Nice, nice. And did you create your own wrestlers and stuff like that as well?
I did. I did.
Oh,
They weren't very good, but I did.
oh, I
But yeah,
spent too many hours creating my own wrestlers as a kid and a teenager. Like, I had to get the signature moves just right.
that's
Wanted to make
great.
sure.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, yeah. Spent many hours, many hours. Like most of my friends liked Sims, but no, I was a creator wrestler guy.
See, that was my segue to Sims. That was it right there. So I was like a game that actually I can just create my own actual world along with players. Yeah. I feel like that's a thing that's a theme within some of my games as well too. So,
Yeah.
hmm
All right, we'll talk about that, I'm sure. So let's one step back then. So Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy. So memories of playing those. What Final Fantasy was it that you played?
I've actually played them all except for the ones that are recent.
Mm, what what
My
what would
cousin.
be your favorite? Would you say?
Oh,
This is a hard
that one's
question, to be fair.
hard. Oh, that one's hard. I didn't even think about them because I like them all just because of the storyline. That was it. That was my thing. The way that Final Fantasy kind of has carried over into all the games, at least back then, they
Mm.
carried over pretty much. But mostly it was the same character that I always played. And off the top of my head right now, can I think of it? No.
Oh,
He was blonde hair, sword. It was pretty much
yeah,
the main character. I love playing him.
yeah. Cloud, I think, isn't it? Cloud.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
Cloud's
called. There
awesome.
it is.
Yeah, and he's obviously in Kingdom Hearts as well, isn't he? So yeah, that was really
Hmm.
cool. That was really cool. Ah, good times, good times. Okay, so you mentioned playing games with your cousins. Did you
Hmm.
play with your parents at all? Did you play with friends much, or was it just mostly a cousins thing?
Mostly by myself and my cousins. My cousins were kind of my friends growing up. My friends didn't really play video games. So it wasn't something that I could just like go to their house and like, I'm going to sit in front of this TV with you guys and we're just going to waste our complete time while I'm here. Just
Oh,
glued to the TV. They just weren't into games like me. I
yeah,
actually was the odd kid out of the group because what girl loves video games? I absolutely adored it. It was the same as me playing with my Barbies, but also my wrestling figures. I mean, this is who I was.
yeah,
So, and my
yeah,
mom and I was raised by, I call her mom, but she was my grandmother technically. I was raised by my grandmother and grandfather, so they weren't really into stuff like that, anyways.
yeah.
So,
No, that's
yeah.
fair enough. And we all know about the stigmas around girls playing video games, especially back
Hmm.
then. Nowadays, it's a bit better, I think, isn't it? But it's still lots of work to do,
Yeah,
isn't there? So it's a
it
shame.
is.
Yeah. Okay. So, um, did you have like a PC, or you mostly consoles? When did PC come into it? Has it come into it?
So I now do PC and console.
Okay.
Um, a lot of times you can't really tell when I'm playing a PC game because of the way that my setup is. It doesn't necessarily look like I'm actually sitting here and I'm on my laptop playing. Especially because when I'm playing with my controller, I'm doing this, so I'm looking directly here, so
Yeah.
you would never really know, and you can't really hear me when I'm tapping it either. So, but that's now later on in my life is when after I bought my first laptop, the first game that I downloaded on my laptop was Sims.
Nice.
And so that's when I started. I did console obviously up until a certain point. I was able to have my own money, so I got console stuff and a laptop, and I was like, yes. So I did both.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. So,
Hmm.
let's talk about like maybe like some of the more like maybe like the 2000s, maybe the 2010s. So, what games come to mind when you think about yesteryear, should we say? So you mentioned Sims, and which yeah, an absolute classic. Is there any other games that you absolutely adore that came out maybe 10 years ago, a bit later than that, maybe?
Ooh, um, I want to say around that time. So this is Sims was my comfort game even 10 years ago,
Right? Yeah.
simply because of the fact that about 10 years ago is when I ended up becoming disabled. So I did a lot of being in the bed while we were trying to figure out like how to get my body back together. And Sims was my comfort thing. I think I stayed on Sims more than any game in the past 10 years. But that also included GTA.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Let's go there. Let's go there. So,
Yeah.
what was your entry into GTA then?
Oh
I'm
God. Um, was it San Andreas?
yeah, yeah,
I feel like it was. Yeah. I think that was my very first like GTA game because my cousins weren't into it.
yeah.
So I came into it later in the GTA game, but San Andreas. Yeah. I
Okay.
remember Vice City. I remember that I feel like I had Vice City at some point,
Mm.
but I didn't play it as heavily as I did later
Yeah.
into it. Yeah.
I've never played Vice City yet. It's like it's a crime that I've not played Vice City yet.
I
To be
actually
honest with you.
have it on my PlayStation because
Yeah.
it's a classic.
I think I've got a copy. So I think I got the trilogy for like £5 or something like that on a sale
Hmm.
sometime. This is before the remaster. That was
Right,
awful.
right.
But yeah, I need to play it. Like I played three. I played three, and I played San Andreas. I played a bit of four, and I played loads of five. But yeah, it seems to be not play, not play for me. Um, but oh wow. So I mean, we'll go into horror as well, especially if that's your your streaming genre.
Hmm.
But let's talk about like just because you talked about San Andreas, and I mean that's obviously like an adult game, should we say? So
Hmm.
what was your journey with adult style games? Horror games, GTA, games that were of a mature rating. Basically, what was that your first, or did you have ones before it? Or
Yeah, I basically had to wait till I was on my own to start exploring more the games that weren't, I guess you would say, child based or childlike,
Yeah.
because my mom was pretty strict. She didn't allow a lot of stuff in her house, and that's just the way that it was. So as soon as I was free to go do what I wanted to,
Yeah.
I immediately jumped over to those genre of games just because I wanted to see what it was about.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
I do tend to find parents, again, I haven't done this podcast a few episodes now. I do tend to find parents do one or the other. Either they're oblivious to what their kids are playing, like, and
Mhm.
that was my parents. I'm like, I'll play whatever. They don't care, which has warped my life, I think, somewhat. But here we are. But then you have a thing like you just said. The other parents are like, oh no, they paid
Nope.
good attention to like mature ratings. Nope.
Nope. Nope.
There's no in
I couldn't
between.
watch mature rating TVs. If it was above 13, absolutely not. It was just, it was a lot going on, which is crazy because she watched certain shows with me and I'm just like, I know this is mature. Like, I feel like, why am I not allowed to play video games? But I could watch this with you. Like,
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, what is San Andreas like to pick up then and play? I mean, if that's one of your first like mature games, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in that game. It's so
it
good.
is. It is good. I need to replay it,
Oh,
honestly.
I streamed it last year actually. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun playing it again. Yeah, definitely play it again. It's so good, and it's so funny because again, obviously a lot of like the political stuff, a lot of the gangster stuff, a lot of the
Mhm.
it still rings true today. I mean, some of it is
Yeah.
still some of it's a bit dated, but a lot of it you're like, oh man, God, here we go, 20 years later, we're still having problems. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Oh
But it's
man.
just like playing Saints Row. That was another game that I picked up
Mm,
later on, is playing Saints Row, and I actually have all of those downloaded on my PlayStation as well. Just
yeah.
because I feel like a lot of those are classics. And even that, oh god, now we're really getting into it. Twisted Metal was also really big for me.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I just because of something about cars just blowing each other up, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know what it was for me, but not in a bad way, but more so in a sense like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like, I
Yeah.
loved Twisted Metal. I think
Yeah.
honestly that was really my first kind of teetering that mature gaming.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, as an adult looking back, there was things that was like said inside of it, or just the way the costumes looked and stuff like that, especially the
Yeah.
clown. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And as a wrestling fan, I'm sure, it's quite interesting and slash cool to see Samoa Joe in the
Yes,
new Twisted Metal TV
absolutely.
show.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, isn't it? I never played Twisted Metal, but as you mentioned, like
Mm.
Carnage and cars and stuff. Like my first like forays into that type of world was a game called Carmageddon. I don't know if you ever played that.
I've
Yeah,
heard it.
yeah, that was like chaos. It was so chaotic, but it was like just cars just running into each other and just bedlam. Oh man, and a bit of Driver. I played a bit of Driver before GTA as well. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Now I
Okay.
have played Driver.
Oh yeah. I was talking to my wife. My wife didn't play Driver, and I was talking to her about like the first like level, the tutorial when you're in the car
Mhm.
parking Driver, and how hard it is. And it was like she had no idea. It's like it's really really so many people failed on the tutorial and they will play the actual game.
Yep.
Oh man. Okay, so speaking of hard games, actually, so is there like what would you say is there like a hardest game you've ever played? Is there like anything that comes to mind? How difficult games could be?
Okay, so I tried to replay it, and I tried to replay it on the Master, which, to add to that other list, we're also talking about Resident Evil series.
Oh,
Played a
okay.
lot of those back in the day. And I still, to this day, absolutely despise Resident Evil Zero. Which is one of the hardest games to play. I don't care what nobody says. I think it's one of the most difficult games to play, and I don't even know it shouldn't even be that way because all
No,
the other Resident Evils just seem to flow, and this one is just like it still frustrates me to this day. I've quit it again. I've quit it maybe like 5 times in my lifetime, and I quit it last year as well. I just couldn't finish it.
oh man, you know what? If you would have asked me that 2 years ago, I would have gone, yeah, that's strange. But you know what? I played it last year and I found it so hard. I don't know
It
why.
is.
I've beaten it 3 times now. I beat it like on I beat it on the GameCube, I think, and then I played it on PC. No, I played it on PS4, like when it came
Mhm,
out on the remaster. So that was what, I don't know, 15 years ago and like 6 years ago, and
mhm.
I don't remember it being a hard game. But then I was like, I'll play it last year. I played it last year. Oh, it was so hard. I was streaming it, and I was just like, what is this? This is ridiculous.
Yep. I literally quit in the middle of the stream. I was like, "We're done. I'm not doing this."
Oh man, did you just like stop streaming, stop recording, done?
Listen, I was like, "We're switching games. I'm not
Yes.
doing this." Everyone was like, "Ray, just give it one more shot." No. Nobody's
No.
ever seen me walk away from a computer so quickly than
Oh man.
playing that game. Frustrate me so much.
Oh man.
And I've
I
never beat it.
yeah. So, see, it's funny again, just thinking about streaming. Obviously, we'll talk a lot about streaming in a bit, but like just streaming, and when you have those difficult moments in your life, it's a whole different dynamic. If you're streaming, if you're playing a game casually on your sofa at home, no cameras or anything, that's one thing. But if you're live in front of an audience and you're struggling with the game,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's just whole different pressure, isn't it?
Whole different.
I go into what I call despair mode when I have that. I'm like, oh, no. I'm just sad and depressed. I'm struggling. But you're like,
Everyone's
no.
trying to get me. No, I just quit.
Next game. Oh man. Oh, right. So yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you there, Resident Evil Zero. So you're a
Mhm.
big Resident Evil fan, of course. Big
I
into horror.
am.
So,
I've played every single one of them.
what are your favorites?
Ooh. Um, well, recently, obviously, Village. I think it's absolutely amazing. I don't care what
Yeah.
nobody says. Um, 4 is definitely on the top of my list. And right there underneath it, I feel like the original Resident Evil.
Mm. As in
So yeah,
original or
like
remake?
the original.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. I like I like the original more than the remake. I don't
Yeah,
know. I think. Oh, I don't know. I think I
I'm
do.
trying to. No, I actually do. I played the remake on stream actually, and what I was saying during it, I was just like, this just doesn't give me the same feel as the original, and I don't know why.
Mm,
It just didn't give me the same. Like I thought it was going to be like a really nostalgic feeling. Like obviously it's just remastered, but I don't know. It just didn't. I don't know. I can't
mm,
even describe it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I remember when I first beat the original
mm.
Resident Evil. Like it doesn't feel the same. I don't know
Yeah.
what it was though.
Yeah. No, I think I agree. It's but yeah. I mean, and I do like Village. I do like Village. I think it gets a bit of a bad time. I think
Hmm.
it's not aged gracefully, really, considering the game has only come out what, maybe 2 years ago now.
2 years
Um,
ago.
God, it's
Hmm.
just flown, hasn't it? But yeah, like Seven's legacy's continuing, whereas in Village is
Oh,
kind of
wait. I forgot 7. What am I doing? Yes, 7. I was like, wait, where am I? Yes, 7. Oh my God, 7. So good.
yeah, Seven is
So
amazing.
good.
But yeah,
So good.
Seven's still sticking strong, isn't it? A lot of people are still
Hmm.
loving Seven, whereas in the
Still love it.
Village is kind of teetered off it a little bit. People are not as keen on it as now as
I
they were.
played Village once. I did
Mm,
the update obviously when it came out, but I've played 7 on stream twice through.
nice.
Love
Yeah,
7. And I still want to go back. I'm going to do it again because I just really loved 7.
it's something, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Hmm.
Oh hell yeah. Okay, so Yeah. So, how much? I think you already answered it with when it comes to your children. But how much gaming do you do offline compared to on stream? Like, what's the ratio like, and what are you playing offline?
Okay, so offline, if I don't stream on that day, I will take time to play with the community outside, like after the girls have eaten and we're just kind of hanging around the house, not really doing anything. Grab my PlayStation because I have two. One's in the room, one's out here. And so I'll just prop up in bed and I'm playing the PlayStation. And it's mostly right now either GTA or DBD.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know you play a lot of DBD, and obviously
A
we
lot
will.
of DVD.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, so you play with so you have stream time, family time, and then you have
Mhm,
sometimes community time. So you kind of break the day up
mhm,
that way. That's really
mhm.
cool. That's really cool.
I break
So
the week up like that. So
mm,
basically, so it's just kind of like my way. I mean, I I don't have a ton of friends in real life. I feel like that sounds like such a shock if anybody knows me, but I have built such a family with my community that we can't go a day, I feel like, without being in contact with each other at some point in time, even if it's through Discord and gaming.
mm,
So, yeah,
yeah,
I take time for them too.
yeah. And again, we will talk properly about streaming in a bit, but I mean, I feel you there. Like I definitely found during the pandemic, especially where
Yes.
I had this moment. I'm sure you can resonate where I'm like my streaming life, my streaming friends, my community has become such a big part of my life now
Mhm.
that it's almost filled that gap really where
Yep.
I wasn't seeing friends in real life much. And
Mhm.
since the pandemic, it hasn't really. It stayed the same. Like
Yep.
streaming's such a big part of my life. And are we speaking the same language here?
Mm.
Yeah,
We are speaking the exact same language. It
yeah.
hasn't changed, not one bit.
Yeah, which is in a certain way a little bit sad, but in a certain way I'm like
Yeah.
I don't mind. I kind of come to embrace it because I just enjoy this part of my life now. Anyway,
Yeah.
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 I felt bad at one point, but I'm like not anymore.
I, I had to get over that guilt. I feel like we have all transitioned to different parts over basically the pandemic, and this became such a huge part of me that now I don't even feel like at times that I can relate to people because they're not into this too. So it's almost like we don't really have too much to talk about. So this has
Mm,
become my thing, and I'm okay with that.
yeah, 100%,
Mm.
100%. Okay, so yeah, so what are you playing offline then at the moment? Then, so you mentioned DBD. You played that on stream and offline. Um,
Offline, yes.
So what are you playing at the moment with the children? Then are you playing just not Roblox,
Just
obviously.
No, no. Usually I'm watching them do Minecraft and just kind of helping them build their worlds because that's what they're working on at the current moment. They
Oh,
have such a
nice.
very intricate world. I can't even to begin to describe what's all going on in there. But other than that, we don't have that many games that we kind of play together besides Mario. They're very quick to throw one of those Switch controllers in my hand to say, "Here, mom, it's time," and that's just what we do.
Oh,
Most of the time, that's pretty much it. Like, since I don't play Roblox with them, their dad does, but since I don't, if I did make an account, that would be something that they would probably want to drag me into to play
yeah.
with them.
So
So
it's just
yeah,
no account means you can't go there. It's just like yeah.
right, exactly. Nope.
I don't have an account, kids. Sorry, I can't play.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, that's an easy out. It's an easy out. Oh, good, good stuff. So, do you play? But do you play games then? Do you play to get achievements, trophies? If so, have you got any platinums that you're proud of?
Ooh. Okay, so I don't really intentionally play for achievements or trophies or anything, except for the one part of Dead by Daylight where you have to do adept. That's it. So getting adepts are my thing.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. Everything else, I'm just like, you'll see it literally. I'll be like, oh, I got an achievement. Oh, I got a trophy. Like, and I don't even know that what I'm doing it for. I'm just happy. Oh, cool. And then when I go back and I look and I see all of my trophies, because I do take a look, I go back and I'm looking, I'm like, I think I can't think of which one that it was. And I should have looked before this, but I did get one really super rare one for Dead by Daylight, but I don't remember on like what I was doing. I
Right.
just know that when I looked it up, it was like a very, very rare achievement.
Wow.
And
Okay.
somehow I got it. So yeah.
I was going to ask her about that actually. So, about Dead, because I'm not a Dead by Daylight streamer. And I've never played it. I think it'll be eventually a community
No,
challenge. It'll be a community
you
challenge at
have
some point.
to. You have to.
I've been told. Same as Phasmophobia. I've not played them. I've been told many times. But yeah, someone who doesn't really play it, I kind of get. I get the rules, and I've seen a lot of content of it. But like, when it comes to not platinum trophies, it comes to achievements. Then does the game because the game's always getting updated. Like, does the achievements
Right.
get updated with it, or
Yes.
yeah?
Yes. Like we
There's
just got Nicolas
loads.
Cage in the game, and having him in there, as soon as you opened it up, it gave you achievements just for getting Nicolas Cage. Like that's how it kind of worked.
Right. Yeah.
But there's like there's a ton of achievements actually, and as much as I've played that game, an overall percentage, I've only gotten 43% of all of the trophies from that game. There's so many.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet. I bet. So, Dead by Daylight then. So, the game is a massive part of your channel and your
Hmm.
community. So, what is it? What is it? What does it mean to you? And why is it such? Why is it such a pillar really of your community and your streams?
So it's the one game that I can mutually play with my community that we all can play across all platforms, whether they're on PC, Xbox, or the PlayStation, Switch. Like, we can all play it. So I wanted to find a game that can also help with that sense of community,
Hmm. Yeah.
which, as we call them, they're Swifts. And that was the one game that I could do it because all the other games that I tend to play, they're not cross platform.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it started off being that, and then it became something of like a competition within myself when it came to this games. And then just the fact of it's always evolving and learning. Everybody drifted from GTA from me and went into Dead by Daylight.
Right.
So I was like, well, I guess it's time for me to get into this game, like seriously get into it. I started playing it actually when DBD first came out. So, but I wasn't streaming or anything back then, and I kind of was just playing with a couple of my previous friends, and we didn't really get into it as much. So I took a year and a half off from it. And then, yeah, it just became like this pillar here. And honestly, the end goal, hopefully, fingers crossed, is that I become a fog whisperer. So, fingers
Excellent.
crossed.
Yes. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So, do you do you have any like video game collectibles? Do you collect stuff? Or
Yes.
oh,
The
okay.
biggest collectible that I have actually is my We Happy Few stuff.
Oh, yes, because of course, yes. I was going to say
Yes.
another massive part of your community and your channel.
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
Anything,
what have you got?
anything We Happy Few, I have. Of course, it's all back there, but it's like I got most of the collectible items that you can get from their actual website. And I don't tend to touch them as much, but I stopped them just so that I could have them. I've got decals, stickers. People have sent me like buttons, rare buttons from the
Oh,
We Happy Few collection. I have the album of all the music that goes throughout the game. I have actually two albums of it.
wow.
Um, and then I guess kind of a collectible would be me getting all of the DLCs that go along with it, making sure I have all of the stuff that was within there. And yeah, We Happy Few is like that was my thing. Like
Yeah.
really thing. I was really into the beta version and watching like it get developed and stuff like that, and I just fell in love with the game. So I knew I had to get all the collectibles. I had to.
No,
I've
yeah.
spent the most money doing that. Yeah.
Good stuff. And it's nice to see again people in your community have been supporting that very, very good
Mhm.
habit. It's a very good habit. I don't care what anyone says. It's a
Mhm.
it's expensive habit, but it's a good habit.
Super expensive. Good habit.
So, do you do any modding at all? Do you have any mods in the games you play, or is that not something that really comes to mind when you think about playing
I
games?
I used to mod my Sims more than I do now. I actually have no mods whatsoever, which is interesting, but I'm all for it. And I just got gifted the GTA for PC, so it's about to get remodded all the way up.
Now's
And
the
so I can
time.
do RP. Yep. So I can do RP. And yeah, and then the only reason why I haven't fully modded my sim stuff is because they had some, issues there with some of the mods and then the new update and all this other stuff. And everyone's like, just wait before you do it because you'll just
Mm,
wipe all your stuff out. And so I waited. So now I'm gonna start adding mods into this version, which is Sims 4 that I have. So
yeah, nice. And you
yeah.
mentioned GTA roleplay. Wow, I
Yeah.
that's exciting. That's exciting.
I'm already getting invited to servers already. They're like, I can't wait till you finish. I'm like, oh my God.
I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I'm brave enough. I think it's so cool. It's so
I'm
cool.
with it. I
Yeah.
just feel like I've done everything in GTA 5 now. I have every building, facility, business, all of the things. And now it's time to move over into the RP world. It's time.
Fine. Are you gonna do it on stream as well, stuff like that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
that's exciting. That's so exciting. Okay, so I've got a question for you from a previous streamer on the podcast. So,
Mhm.
so this is a new feature we're doing. So they didn't know, obviously, they were asking you the question, but they've asked a question for a feature streamer. Obviously, after we
Mhm.
finish our chat, Ray, I'll ask you to ask a feature streamer a question. So, without knowing who it was for, the question for you, Ray,
Mhm.
is if you could replace any main character in a game, who would it be? And it says here as a caveat as well, being mindful of your own experiences and training. Very interesting question.
Mm. Okay, so we're gonna go into We Happy Few
Oh,
because
okay.
I have some grievances with that game. There's one specific part that I feel like, honestly, to me, I feel like she should just be a feature in Arthur's chapter. I don't think that she should actually have her own chapter. That's my opinion. If you've ever played We Happy Few, you kind of know she has a baby. You have to take care of the baby. It's all this other stuff. I see where her story helps the game, but I would have loved to replace her chapter with Arthur's brother. I would have loved to have known what happened to him, what he dealt with. His name was Percy. What he dealt with, and getting kidnapped on the train and going into the camp or wherever he is, because we never find out what happens to him. And I just feel like his chapter would have been better than having Sally in the game. That's just me, though.
Okay. So you're slotting
Mm-hmm.
yourself into We Happy Few.
Yep.
Yep. Go for it. Go for it. Awesome. Okay. Right. Let's talk about streaming. Um, so how long have you been streaming for? And what were the moments in life, should we say, that led to that go live button being pressed? What was that experience like, and how did that journey go?
So I've been streaming for almost 3 years. I think I have 2 weeks left before it makes 3 years
Oh,
that I've
nice.
been streaming. Um, and it was actually a conversation with one of my former friends. She's also a streamer. But we were just kind of like, well, here's COVID. We're already playing video games. Like, why don't we both just start streaming? I mean, we had a podcast before together, and we did that on Facebook, and it was just kind of like, we like being in front of the camera, obviously, because we've been doing this podcast for almost a year. Let's just go straight into it. Why not? And she was like, if we make some money for it, cool. If we get some follows, cool. Whatever it is. And I more so was just like, I don't know. I'm kind of looking for friends. And so we made the decision to go live together.
Okay.
And we both were streaming GTA. And I
Nice.
still have clips on my channel from that very first stream.
Oh, excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. Look at that, full circle. Then, if you do go, so full circle twice then, actually, because by the time this episode will come out, it would have been 3 years. So happy 3 years for streaming,
Thank
Ray.
you.
And hopefully, maybe by this point, you might be doing GTA roleplay. So yeah,
Maybe.
maybe that's awesome. Oh, good stuff. So, how did you feel then about pressing that go live button? Was it nervous, or was the podcast experience that you had developed? Did it calm the nerves down? How did you feel?
I mean, I'm a theater major. Nerves are just part of the job, as I feel. And so nerves either way, every podcast that we did was scared. And pushing that live button was even scarier. So, because I feel like with the podcast, I was more so broadcasting for people that I already knew.
Right,
And I
yeah.
knew that when it came to streaming, I was going to start to like get people in that I didn't know. And just like with acting, you're scared of the critiques. You're scared of how people are going to perceive you. You're scared of all of these things. And that's what you could tell I was nervous in my first stream. You
Yeah,
could tell.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I I look back. I've been streaming for 6 years, and I just hit my 6 year anniversary actually not long ago. So I watched back the first ever
Mhm.
VOD. So that's still on the YouTube. Oh god. But yeah, but it's not that bad actually, because again you mentioned podcast experience, you mentioned theatre experience. Like I had radio DJ experience, so
Mhm.
I kind of knew how to like produce my voice. And again, you probably had similar things with podcasting, so I had some experience, and I had some people. It was quite a nice backhanded compliment to kind of say like, "What you've never streamed before?" It's like, "No, this is my first stream," type of thing. So it was quite nice to get those type of compliments on your first stream. But yeah, bag of nerves, man. Oh my god, yeah,
Oh man, it was terrible. It was
yeah.
so bad.
Oh yeah,
It kind of helped to have people within the PlayStation chat because like we literally did it together. So it's like it helped to have somebody there to talk to that you were already familiar with. So it helped make the stream because of the fact that we were just being two girlfriends back babbling back and forth about the missions that we were doing, and
yeah.
that made that first stream.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mhm.
Do you still have people that joined that first stream still with you today?
No, unfortunately not.
Oh, that's a
I
shame.
don't, which is sad. It's sad part about streaming. You always see the little thing going around where like sometimes this is the last time that we'll ever actually play a game together. That's what ended up happening.
Yeah,
So yeah.
it is sad, it kind
Mhm.
of it's kind of like, again, you look back on, like, sometimes when you look back on your old clips, or sometimes you look back on, whatever, and you do see people there that aren't there anymore, because again, COVID was such an interesting time. People
Mhm.
probably have moved back to touching grass and stuff, which is awful
Mhm.
stuff. I don't recommend touching grass.
I don't recommend it either.
But yeah, it is sad, but it's also kind of, I have good memories as well. So it's kind of bittersweet, I feel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Same. Same.
No, I won't mention them by name, but I had someone on the podcast kind of mentioned they took like a bit of a time out, because they had some
Mhm.
IRL stuff going on.
Mhm.
And then they came back after that period of time, and then a lot of their community had gone, and that it gives some sadness, and it is sad, when you kind of have that feeling of, oh man, like you feel like sometimes like it's almost guilt, like have you done
Mhm.
something wrong, and you haven't. The life moves on, doesn't it? So
Life, just life. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, but 3 years of streaming. So what are some of your favorite memories? Some of your favorite streams? Have you got any good stories?
Ooh. Um, yes, I think so. It's my biggest moment besides the three, well, this is the top biggest raid that I ever had, but it was the most memorable one. And I'm telling you, when I say everybody was clipping like crazy, I was crying. Like, I have their side, I have my side of when they did it, but I got raided. I was playing Resident Evil Village and I got raided by Lady D and the daughters. And that was the biggest moment of my streaming everything.
Oh my god.
It was crazy because I didn't even know what was going on. I'm just talking, 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 and I look at the screen and I'm like, what's happening? And then the next thing I know, everybody's just spamming the chat with Lady D and the House of Dimitrescu and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, House of Demi, wait a minute. Lady, wait a minute. And I was like, holy, and I was like, I lost it because I had been so down on myself because my mom had just passed, okay? And I had been so down on myself and I almost wanted to take like a break. And it just felt like that moment was my sign to keep going. Especially a little to known streamer like me. I think I had maybe 4 or 5 people in that stream and we were just talking to each other and that's pretty much it because at the time it was being played so heavily. I mean, it was pretty much oversaturated, and for the fact that they actually went to find someone in, in their category with as little as people as they possibly could, but had a personality. Like, that just made me feel validated. That was an amazing feeling. That was it right there. And I mean, when I say I have their side, they literally, you can hear me at the end of their stream going, oh my God, I love her. Oh, let's go break her. Let's do it, guys. And
Yes.
that's exactly what they did. They broke me. They broke my stream. They broke the chat. It was my biggest stream to date.
Wow, what a story. Oh my god, that's so awesome. That's so awesome.
Mm-hmm. With almost 400 people. It was really crazy.
Oh my god, yeah.
I know.
I don't know. I won't mention the name just in case. But there's someone within the Nightbreed community actually who got raided by Adam Cole, the wrestler.
Oh gosh! Oh, yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'll tell you the name after the stream if you want. But
okay.
So the Chugs they stream on Twitch and Adam Cole, and he raided this streamer in our community, in the Nightbreed community, and. I didn't know. I wasn't live, but I watched the VOD afterwards, and it was just mental. All these people, because that streamer was also a bit of a wrestling fan. I had like Stone Cold sound alerts and stuff like that. So all these Adam Cole fans were just joining the stream and just spamming the Stone Cold alerts and saying like "Chug stream" or "Adam Cole baby" or whatever. And like that streamer was just like, what's going on? It took about 4 or 5 minutes, literally, for them to kind of twig what was going on.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, when I say I was lost, I look like, what just happened? I thought, no lie, I thought I was getting followed by it. Okay, I really did. And then just when I was like, I saw Nicole's name in the stream, and I was like, shut up, this is real.
Wow.
It was massive.
That's
it was
so
great.
Awesome.
Great.
That's so cool. Love it. Okay. So your username. So Ravishing Ray. Where did that come from, if you don't mind me asking?
So the ravishing part is really funny. And the group that I started off with streaming, they kind of came up with my name. I've always been known as Ray, so Ray was just kind of, a given. But the ravishing part, and again, showing my age, there was one word that always stuck out to me when I watched The Nanny. If you know what The Nanny is, with Fran Fine and Mr. Sheffield and all that other stuff, they used ravishing so much. I just loved the way he said it. And I was just like, when I was thinking about my usernames, I was just trying to find something that flowed with Ray.
Yeah.
And so my previous friend was just like, you should just put ravishing in front of it. I mean, that's what pretty much everybody likes to throw at you anyway, so that's what you are. And I'm like, you know what? There it is.
There
That
it
was
is.
it.
Love it.
That was it.
Oh, that's
Cheating.
simple as that,
Mm-hmm.
but it works.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
It worked.
And it's obviously the alliteration is just fantastic as well. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
100%. So I haven't asked you this yet. So if you were stuck on a remote island, and on that
Mm-hmm.
island you're stuck on it forever, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You can bring the kids, it's fine. But the rule is you
Nope.
can nope. Nope, no kids on my island. Nope. It's my island.
My island.
Amazing. Okay, you're stuck on the island. You can only have 3 games with you for the rest of eternity on that island.
Mm-hmm.
You can connect to the internet. You can download mods. You can download DLC. But you're stuck on that island with those 3 games. What would they be?
I could play We Happy Few every single day for the rest of my life. I love that game. So definitely that. I'm gonna say Super Mario again because of the ways that I literally still just enjoy playing the game. Whether I do the cheats or I play it all the way through, I still adore it. And Sims 4 because I can just play God and I like that.
Oh my god! You know, I don't want to get on your bad side. I don't want to be one of those Sims. You know, goodness me. You know, when you said it before, if you can replace any main character in a game, the one I wouldn't choose is a main character in your Sims game. Oh,
Listen, I have created the best stories on that game.
oh my god!
Matter of fact, we're playing the Black Widow challenge as we speak. So yeah.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Okay, I can't remember where I was going to go with that. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, I was going to mention. I can't believe there's a Dead by Daylight on that list, especially because it's an online game.
No. See, I
Wow.
love that game, but you said 3, so
I did. It's mean.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I love Dead by Daylight, but there are times where I have to take a break from it. So I picked the 3 in my mind that I wouldn't necessarily feel like I needed to take this full on break from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And let's
Dead
be
by Daylight
honest.
can be frustrating.
Let's be honest. Sims has got a
Yeah.
lot of legs. There's a lot of stuff you can do, isn't there? Like that almost infinite possibilities, isn't there? So
Yep.
yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay. I haven't actually just yet either. Again, so is there like a game that comes to mind when you think of like the worst game that you've ever played? But that doesn't have to. It can mean one of 2 things or both things. Where it could be a game that you really had a lot of interest, but it was just disappointing, or a game that's just downright awful, buggy, a mess, bad game. You know, is there any worst games that come to mind?
Mm. So there's this one game that I played, and there's a big following for it, or at least a kind of cult following for it. But I have not finished it, and no lie, I have died 484 times in this game. There's a counter on Twitch now. You can literally say exclamation death and it will bring up how many times I have died in that game. I have never finished it and I don't think I will. I've just kind of phased it out quietly, but it is Dark Deception. And it
Oh,
is a yeah.
okay. I was
Yeah,
thinking she's going to say Dark Souls. She's going to say Dark Souls. She's going to say
no,
Dark
no,
Deception.
Dark Deception.
Worst game.
I don't like it. I've tried to play it. I've tried to finish it. I think it's buggy. I think that for the fact that they sat here and they put it out and they keep bringing new chapters in, but have not really fixed the original game, doesn't make sense to me because it is really buggy. There's a lot of like controls that you have to do while you're playing it and stuff, which is crazy because you have to do that in a lot of the games that I play. But for some reason, because it's buggy, it doesn't flow right, at least with me, which is why I've died so much in the game.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. And I guess my brain can't comprehend switching between all of these things. It's like you have to switch from this to go to this. And then because it's PC, it's like you're trying to get it's like I'm trying to switch it, I'm trying to do this, sometimes it won't go through, and then it's really buggy.
Yeah.
It's really buggy, and a lot of people that came in to watch me play it said the exact same thing. It's super buggy and you have to do this instead of this and then that, and I'm just like I'm over it.
Ah, fair enough. Yeah, I've
Mhm.
played it once on stream. I played because the first episode, I think, isn't it? That's free.
Mhm.
So I played that copy of it, and I enjoyed it. But yeah, there's an element of oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah, basically.
No, there's no way they
My
caught me. No way.
no way, no way. How did this even happen?
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I got one final question. We're almost at the
Okay.
end. So, is there any advice, Ray, that you'd like to think about giving anyone that is thinking about picking up streaming for the first time? What advice or wisdom would you like to pass on to those people that you've experienced or not experienced, shall we say, as well?
My first advice always, because I feel like when you come into streaming, everybody's goal is to immediately hit affiliate, get verified, do this. It's always a rush for the numbers and so that you can get to the money, basically. I don't advise that. I don't feel like that is what somebody who's new should be worried about. I think that for me, especially what I had to learn was it's not about the numbers. Turn the counter off, turn the views off, turn all of that off. Don't worry about any of that. Don't worry about if you're getting a sub. Don't worry about if you're getting bits. Don't worry about if you're getting any of those things or whatever, subscriptions, whatever the case may be, because I don't know all the other platforms as well as I do Twitch. But don't worry about any of that. What you should be focusing on is one, putting yourself out there and building a community. Your foundation is what's important. And I had to really, really learn that the foundation was really important. And this is coming from a person who got affiliated fairly quickly. It wasn't a numbers game. Even in the beginning, I honestly didn't even really understand how to get affiliated. It just kind of I got the email and boom, there it was. But it's because I came up here just to find my people.
Yeah.
And so
100%.
that's the best advice that I can give anybody. It's about finding your people.
Yeah.
Worry about the rest of the stuff later. Like, if you want to make this full time, obviously it has to be a numbers game. It has to be about, getting the money or getting to the money or whatever. But I also feel like a lot of people lose that when it becomes the main focus. I've actually seen streamers that become their downfall. It's just because they're chasing the dollar so much or they're chasing the high numbers. And I can't even fathom to do that. Community. That's what I think. I give everybody the same advice. Community.
I
Find
mean,
your people.
if there's one thing that I think we've definitely learned, if we didn't know already, obviously because I've known you for a couple of years now, that you're about Ray is community, and that C word's been present throughout this whole chat, and you take a lot of pride in that, and what you've built is tremendous, and you should be very proud of it. And
Yeah.
it's you got a fantastic following, you got a fantastic aura on stream. You know what you're doing. Your kids are wonderful sometimes in the background,
Mhm.
and yeah, I love what you do. You're brilliant. So thank you for streaming and
Thank
doing what you do.
you.
Honestly.
Thank you. Thank you.
One more time, Ray. So I'm out of questions. So one more time, shall we? Where can we find you? What socials are you on? And where can we find you?
Um, TikTok, ravishing underscore Ray underscore TTV on there, Twitter, and then on Instagram as well. And then I have a separate Instagram that's my more personal one, which is pretty much the end of my name, RAE, and then 234. And then that's where you get to see more of my personality stuff besides the streaming stuff. um, and then Facebook. But then I have to tell you my real names.
Uh,
And I like to remain a mystery.
Ma, you ain't finding that out, people. You thought you'd find that, you're not finding that
Nope.
out. Oh, Ray, that was wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. That was excellent.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I love it. Excellent. Thanks so much for listening / watching, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.